I would invite now Nigel Spencer from the Research and Business Development. He's the Research and Business Development Manager at British Library. He prepared the presentation regarding the British Library Business and IP Center case studies. He will share his presentation with Michael Korn. He's a founder and director of QuickScreen, a design engineer who developed a product, QuickScreen, detectable room divider. He will give us the details and he will provide his own presentation after Nigel Spencer's introduction. Nigel Spencer is currently responsible for services to support innovation and entrepreneurship at the British Library Business and IP Center. Since joining the British Library in 1983, Nigel has been responsible for managing a diverse range of services. These have included the British Library Lloyds Bank Business Line, the British Library Seminar Program, reprographic and photographic services, the Patent Express Document Delivery Service, the British Library Images Online Picture Library, reference services across the British Library reading rooms, and the provision of access to premium subscription online databases in British Library reading rooms. Please, the floor is yours. We are looking forward to see your presentation.
I think the most important thing, thanks Nick, the most important thing for some of you who know Maria Lampert is I sit next to her. So that's, for those of you who know Maria, that's probably the most important fact of all. Yeah. Okay. The presentation is called Case Studies, and I will be introducing Michael to talk about his experiences shortly. But before that, I want to take a step back and look at libraries. Look at libraries specifically which are trying to provide services to support innovation and entrepreneurship. I want to look at some of the challenges that those libraries face and then put forward arguments for why libraries are very well placed to offer services to those audiences. Now, I know that many of you will be familiar with these challenges. You live them every day, and that many of you are also doing brilliant work in trying to address those challenges and offering those services. So a lot of what I'm going to be saying will actually be quite obvious. But I think it's worth standing back sometimes and talking about what we do as libraries and the role that we can play. So I will now try this machine. And there we are. Okay, some of the challenges which libraries face in trying to provide services to support entrepreneurship and innovation. Firstly, information. We've heard people making reference to the internet today. Information is not hard to come by, but quality information can be. And it's very important that libraries can provide access to the information which is of quality, but also is relevant to the needs of its users, its customers. Also that it's accessible. Now, by accessible, I don't necessarily just mean, it can mean a number of things. It can mean the formats that you provide the information in. It can be the layout of a reading room or library. It can be the hours that the library is open and how you provide services and access for groups who can't necessarily get in easily. Another point is how you gain credibility amongst business users. In order for people to come and use our facilities and services, they have to believe that we understand what their experience and their needs are. Another important point is that all libraries, all public libraries, PATLIBs, exist within an infrastructure, within a landscape. The word I like to use is within an ecosystem. And that ecosystem is key to enabling you to be able to develop, or us to develop our library service. Now that means that we have to understand where a library fits into that ecosystem and the role that other service providers play within that. Now that will vary from one country to the next, from one region to the next, from one town to the next. But those ecosystems and that landscape provides the referral network that will bring people to you, but also the network that you will use to be able to pass your clients on to other people. The libraries also have a challenge and an opportunity in that they do sit at the heart of communities, and they have the potential role to be a catalyst to build communities of entrepreneurs. And so there is an opportunity there for libraries to be a hub and to provide that kind of catalyst role. Now, I mean, as you would have heard from Nick's introduction, I've been in the library for a very long time. Now, when I first started, the way that I would have researched information, the way that I would have engaged with clients is very different from how I do so now. I think even if you look back 10, 20 years, the way that people access information, the way they work with each other has changed dramatically and changes year to year. So the way that we offer services has to reflect the way that organizations and individuals learn, receive information, share information. And that is a major challenge. Possibly the biggest challenge of all is, I think, the role that libraries play has changed. Again, when I first started doing online searching in the late 80s, it was all about bulk. I'd go online, I'd go and do an online search, and I'd come back with the results that were that high and say, look at that, isn't that fantastic? It's not about information volume now. It's about the way that we can facilitate really the creation of knowledge. We're not aggregators anymore. We're more about, we sit between the information and people making use of it. It's a different role. So, imagine that you're on a train and you're next to this person. Lucky you. And you get talking about what you do. This person's a bit skeptical, a bit cynical about the role of a PATLIB, what libraries actually do, particularly in relation to supporting innovation and entrepreneurship. So how can we convince this character that we have an important role to play? Now, here are some of the arguments that I think, or that I would put to this individual. Firstly, we all suffer from information overload. The trouble isn't that we can't find information or that we haven't got enough information. The problem is that it's becoming increasingly difficult to be able to understand and sort through and filter through what's there. So what's needed is a higher degree of information literacy so that we can sort through, appreciate, assess the information that we're receiving. The argument there would be, from my point of view, that the best placed people to provide or give people the tools to be able to apply a critical assessment to information is an information professional. Librarians, they have a crucial role to play. Now, having said that we're all sort of sinking under the weight of information, it's also true that a lot of very high quality information, particularly market research, market data, sits behind paywalls, which means, and often is only available through online databases and other sources, which often have subscription-based models which exclude smaller businesses and individuals. Libraries can often be the only place that you can go to get that kind of information if you're not a large organization. So we provide access, often the only source of access to high quality and high value and high cost information. Now, many of our more sort of visionary predecessors will have placed libraries in the centre of communities. Here in Manchester, as an example, we have a fantastic library building right in the middle of city centre, because they saw the important role of libraries at the heart of communities. This means that libraries are often very well placed, very accessible, and often very prominent buildings. People know they're there. And people will often have used them for other reasons. They will have gone there with their children. They will have researched their family history and other things. So actually going into a library is not a particularly unusual thing for people to do. So why not extend that to offering access to entrepreneurs? It's a very good fit. Isabel mentioned earlier, as did Richard, the importance of one-to-one contact, talking to people. Now, certainly within England, the amount of one-to-one support available for small businesses is decreasing, or has decreased substantially in the last couple of years. We still offer the opportunity for people to meet people and to talk to people. It doesn't mean that's all they're going to do, because obviously people are also operating in virtual spaces as well and online. But we provide a physical, face-to-face opportunity for people to meet. Now, this person may be skeptical about libraries, but there are certain people he probably really hates. Those may well be institutions like financial institutions, like political parties and institutions. Words like corruption, greed, incompetence, not words I would use ever, of course. Maybe words that he would use to describe some of these organizations and institutions. However, look at a library, look at the words you use, look what the whole sort of purpose of a library is, the kind of words you're using then. You're using education, self-improvement, empowerment, very positive, altruistic messages that libraries kind of embody. So when it comes to offering services, people are aware that we're neutral. We don't have any particular agenda that we're looking to present. We're not trying to sell any particular product. We're not trying to pursue any political agenda. So therefore, we're trusted. We may not be viewed as being the most dynamic organizations, but we're certainly viewed as being trustworthy and honest. At the same time, if you look at a discussion about the current situation in Europe with the economy, many commentators are saying, and many people believe, that the way out of our current situation lies in the creativity and innovation and energy and honesty of entrepreneurs. So you've got entrepreneurs on the one hand, libraries on the other hand. We're a good match. We're the good guys. We're working together, and we can work together, and we can be seen. I mean, we're a very good match. The final point is that we, as has been pointed out by Richard and others, we do save our customers money. I think possibly saving customers money is not the way I want to put it. I think we help entrepreneurs and our customers to focus the money they have in the most cost-effective way possible, which means using resources, using services when they're needed, but not wasting money, when they don't need to. So, having made the case, I don't know whether he's convinced or not, he still looks quite angry to me, but I think the case is quite strong. Looking specifically at the British Library, how have we approached these challenges? I'm not going to go through all of these in detail because actually a lot of it's been covered already. But maybe a slight emphasis, maybe a slight difference in emphasis in the way I'll put things.